Can 140 characters help any company raise $1 billion? Twitter is trying precisely that. It will come out with an IPO to raise that sum from the markets very soon, and especially in a slowdown. So what does Twitter bring to the table? In the first 6 months of 2013, its revenue stood at $253 million. Its advertising revenue stood at $220.6 million. Its international revenue was $62.8 million, and it had 220 million monthly active users. Comparisons may sound odious, but you have to compare it with Facebook, which came up with internet's largest IPO of $16 billion, did face some troubles, but eventually was successful. But Facebook's revenue in the first 6 months of 2013 stood at $3.271 billion. Its advertising revenue was $2.85 billion. Its international revenue was $1.8 billion, and it has 1.5 billion monthly active users. Investors can draw a conclusion, but at the same time, if Twitter has been around for 7 years, and in these 7 years it has been a success story. Many people have been using it. Social networking sites are ballooning, but at the same time investors will also have to take care that Twitter is still making losses. It's a little more than $400 million as of now. So will Twitter eventually be successful? Perhaps yes. Much depends on government policies. Much depends on whether it can manage to get more international revenue by penetrating more geographies, because as of now, though it may be getting 77% of its users from international from other geographies other than the US, it gets only 25% of that revenue from these areas. So that could also be a blip as far as Twitter is concerned. And more importantly is whether Twitter can make social networking work for it, for the simple reason that we had something called Facebook fatigue. So are we going to have Twitter fatigue soon? That's a question that only time will tell.